This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas. The information contained in this podcast is intended for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for individual professional legal advice. The podcast information was carefully compiled from vetted sources and references. However, R.O.S.E Resources outreach to safeguard the elderly cannot guarantee that you will not fall victim to a scam. Let's talk about scams. It's the must-listen show for anyone who wants to protect themselves and their loved ones from scams. Every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time on K4HD Radio, Joyce Petrowski, founder of R.O.S E, and her guests will provide valuable insights and practical tips on how to recognize and protect yourself from scams. And now, here is your host, Joyce Petrowski.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy New Year. Hard to believe it's 2026. I was just thinking back earlier when I remember 26 years ago when it flipped over to from 1999 to the year 2000, and everybody was worried that like the ATMs weren't going to work, and that the dates wouldn't transfer over and all of that stuff. So it's hard to believe now it's 2026. So you can find more information about what we do on our website at roseadvocacy.org. You can find more resources. You'll find all the links to our social media channels. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And you can find all of our past episodes on YouTube under the live section. And scroll down to the bottom of the homepage and you'll find where you can sign up for our newsletters. We do an emailed newsletter and we do a mailed newsletter. The mailed newsletter comes out once a month at the beginning of the month. You guys should have probably already received yours for January. Our emailed newsletter, we do a bigger one at the beginning of the month. This month is going to be delayed a little bit because I'm changing the design on it. So it took a little bit longer to do that. But then every Tuesday morning, we do a Tuesday tip. 9:15 Arizona time in the morning, you're going to get a Tuesday tip to your inbox. Might be a tip you're not aware of, might be a tip you already know about, but that's fine because what it does is it helps reinforce your healthy skepticism to always do your research and question before just accepting that a contact is legitimate. And it helps build your scam awareness and your prevention habits. It's just reinforces it. So anyways, today, with being the new year, we're going to go back to the basics and we're going to talk about the anatomy of a scam. We're going to go through the different components and then we're going to go through some general tips that you could use with any scam. So I'm going to share my screen and pull up our anatomy of a scam infographic. We created this, gosh, I keep saying a few years ago, 2 years ago, but now it's probably 3 years ago that we have created this. And we broke down scams into 3 different parts. And let me blow this up a little bit to give you an idea of what scams are in general. We found doing our presentations, we would talk about maybe 5 scams that have a tendency to target the older adults, but we were always behind the 8 ball because new scams come up all the time. So we created this anatomy of a scam. And if you look in the blue here, this first part is initiating contact. And you can see the different ways, they can call you on the phone, send you an email, send you a text. Yes, they do still send things in the mail, although not as much as, they used to when they first started the scams. but then online, and online is a big way. And your cell phone, your mobile phone is a big way. If it's connected to the internet, you're going to get a lot of online stuff. You could be on social media and they could be messaging you through social media. You could have there's a lot of different texting apps that are encrypted, like WhatsApp is a big one. And scammers like that. Let's say they message you on social media. Well, they very quickly want to take it off social media and take it over to an encrypted app like WhatsApp. Um, and they're going to want to communicate with you there. You get your emails on your mobile phone. Chances are that's where you're going to be looking at them, your text messages, the phone calls. Not a lot of people have landlines anymore. Some people still do, and they could get scam calls on their landlines as well. But your mobile phone is a big way because we do a lot of our day-to-day tasks and we're on our phones a lot. But now that's not to say that you're not going to get contacted through an iPad or a Android, laptop or an Android phone, but um, maybe an iPad or a laptop or a desktop, anything that is, connected to the internet, they can find a way to contact you. And and as I said, your mobile phone is going to be a big way. And once you engage with them, when they contact you, they very, very quickly go over into this second part in the purple, which is called creating a compelling reason to act. This is where your emotions come into play, and they run the gambit on emotions. They know that the longer they can keep you in your emotional state, the better they are able to get you to send them money. That's what they want. Yes, they might be asking for personal information, but if they want to steal your identity, it's all to be able to take credit out in your name and do things like that in order to get money. So, money's their end game. And I hear a lot of people, doesn't matter what their age is, they've fallen victim to a scam. They say, I feel so stupid that I fell for that. I didn't see the red sign or the red flags. Um, and but you have to understand, if you are making decisions out of an emotional state, there is a very good chance that you are not that's not the decision you would normally have made had you been in a rational state of mind. It's only after the scam that you have time to think about it, and then you start noticing the red flags and realizing, "Oh, I've fallen victim to this." So your emotions are a very powerful motivator in order to do what the scammer wants. And there's a ton of different emotions, and depending on the scam, they might have you scared, they might have you angry, upset, feeling like you're, in love, you're grieving the loss of your partner, and now you have a love interest again. We're just not thinking rationally when we're in emotional state. And they very quickly then will come down to, and this says requesting payment, it's requesting money. I had somebody tell me once, I wasn't they didn't request payment for like a bill. They requested money for a variety of different reasons. Um, they like wire transfers. If you've ever done a wire transfer through your bank, you will get notified before it goes through, as you're going through and setting it up. Are you sure you want to do this? Once you send this money, it's gone. Is anybody forcing you to do this? So there's prompts there that you have to go in. And if you have multi-factor authentication set up, which you should on all of your financial accounts, it's going to come in and you're probably going to have to get a different code as you're going through that transfer process. Depends on the bank. I know depending on the dollar amount, I've had to put a code in part of the way through the process of transferring money. They also like the Venmo, the Zelles, the PayPal, those peer-to-peer payment apps. Zelles are connected to your bank account. They're run right through your bank. And you want to make sure you have all the security measures enabled if you're using Zelle, because it is attached to a bank account. We're not saying don't ever use it. You have to make the decision. Um, it's convenient. It's a convenient way to send money, and you have to make the decision. Okay, I'm going to use Zelle. Well, I'm going to lock it down. I'm going to put all the security measures in place with Zelle and with my bank, because if somebody were to be able to get in to my Zelle, they're going to have access to that bank account that it's attached to. And if you've got multiple bank accounts all under the same profile, now they can go in and they can access those other bank accounts. So I've had people tell me that yes, they're going to continue to use Zelle, which is fine. They've got it locked down, they've got it secure, but what they've done is they have set up a totally separate bank account, and that is the only account that is attached to their Zelle. So and they only keep a small amount of money in it. So if a scammer was able to get into their bank account through Zelle, they only have access to a very small amount of money in that one account. That one account is not tied to any of their other accounts. It's not on the same profile. Um, so the scammer wouldn't be able to see or access any of those other accounts. Venmo, my understanding, is a product of PayPal. And those, if you're familiar with PayPal, that you can have your credit cards on there, you can have your bank accounts on there. I would highly suggest on PayPal, and I don't remember off the top of my head if you can have just a credit card listed in PayPal. You might want to check into that and see about doing it, and if you can, not attach your bank account to PayPal, and just have a credit card. You have so much more recourse with fraudulent charges on a credit card than you do your debit card or your bank account. So just be careful with those and have all the security measures put in place with Venmo and PayPal. Scammers also like gift cards. They don't need you to actually send them the gift card. They're going to want you to take a picture of the back of it after you've scratched off or you've exposed the codes, or they're going to just ask you to give them the codes. That's all they need. And then they have access to the amount of money that's on that gift card. Now, something interesting about gift cards, and I talked about this in a previous radio show recently. Over the holidays, I was at a grocery store. It was at Fry's. And I noticed I was looking specifically for an Amazon gift card, and they had a different way, a different holder for the Visa MasterCards, the Amazon gift cards. Wasn't all of the gift cards. A lot of the restaurant ones, those still had the regular, you just pull them off. But this one for Amazon and for the Visa MasterCards, you actually had to pull down. And it actually, the little cardboard covering that is around the hook where the gift card goes in, you have to pull it down, and it breaks that cardboard. At the top there. So if you're going in and you're buying gift cards and you want to buy one and you happen to see one just laying there, if it's that cardboard is ripped at the top, don't, because that means somebody has pulled it off and you don't know what they've done. You don't know if they've scanned it and they're just waiting for someone to activate it. Go in and pull one off yourself. So you know that no one has taken that off and done anything with it. Hopefully, we're going to see that on all of the gift cards, that they're going to have those types of holders, over the coming months. That would be fantastic. It'd also be fantastic if these stores that sell gift cards would have them back behind customer service. They keep all the cigarettes back there and all that. So have the gift cards back there. And yes, it's going to take a little bit more time because you've got to go to customer service and ask them for the gift card and then activate it. But it's going to be more of a deterrent for somebody to come in and try and scan information off those gift cards. Cryptocurrency, that's a big one. Scammers love cryptocurrency. I don't know if you guys have seen the cryptocurrency ATM machines that are out there. They're, I looked it up recently, and I want to say it said there was like just over maybe 700 of them in the state of Arizona. There were thousands of them throughout the United States. There's a few states that didn't have any, but the majority of the states had, yeah, at least one cryptocurrency ATM machine, but Arizona has a lot of them. And scammers know exactly where they're at. You can just look it up online and it'll, tell you where these cryptocurrency ATM machines are at. And once the scammer might have you go to your bank and they're anticipating the questions the bank teller is going to ask, and so they have all the answers. They're on the phone with you, and they're going to prompt you before you go in, but they're going to listen for those questions and they're going to tell you what to say. They have the answers to those questions and they've thought about them, and you get the money and they're going to direct you to a cryptocurrency ATM, and you put their account number in that they give you, and feed the machine with the cash, and it's gone. It's in their crypto wallet and they're going to convert it to cash, and they're going to take it. So there was, not sure if you realized, there was a new law put into effect in Arizona regarding the cryptocurrency kiosk machines. Um, it went into effect at the end of September. You can look it up. Just search new cryptocurrency kiosk law in Arizona, and you'll find information on it. There are specific things that need to have been done, and if you meet those requirements, there is a possibility that you could get a refund of the money that you lost in the scam. There's also daily limits that new users of these machines can, max amount they can put in. And I believe it's after 10 days from your first use of the machine, you then become a reoccurring customer and those daily limits go up. But the machine is going to, when you're done, it spits out a receipt. Keep that receipt, because if in 30 days that you've found that that was a scam and you follow and you meet all of the requirements, one of which is you need to report it to law enforcement and or the attorney general. And I believe you also need to report it to the owner of the machine, the owner operator of the machine. But you're going to get a report from law enforcement or the attorney general wherever you report it. Your receipt is your proof that you put a certain amount of money into that machine, and the receipt is supposed to have the account number of where you're sending the money. And so then your report that you get from the uh, attorney general or law enforcement is your proof that you were scammed. But you have to meet all the requirements. It's within 30 days, and then you could get a refund. I'm hoping in the next couple months we're going to be able to have a guest on the show that actually has successfully gotten a refund from being a victim of a scam using these cryptocurrency ATM machines. So we can go into more detail on that. Urgency here is in the middle. The majority of the scams, it's urgent from the contact down to getting the money. Now, there are a few scams, and there could be different ones in the future as well, that they don't request money from the get-go, like the romance scam or a pig butchering scam. They're trying to establish a relationship, especially with the romance scam. They want to get you into that absolute trust. Once they feel they have you there, then the requests start coming for money, and it's urgent that they need the money and they get the money. The time it takes for you to be in that absolute trust with them varies. It could take a day, it could take a week, a month. And they're invested because they know once they get you there and you only believe what they say and you're not believing your family and your friends and you're not talking to them about all of this, that they have a better chance of draining your money. Um, so that's the anatomy of a scam. We go over this in our presentations. Um, and then another page from our identity theft and cyber safety resource packet that we give out to everybody. It's a 30-page resource packet we give out to everybody at our presentations, and we go through it with them and answer questions. This is one of the pages, and it has some tips. So pause and assess your emotions is the first one. Pausing is the most important thing there. Slow down, pause, and think about the situation. Now, the scammers, if you engage with them, they're going to try to get you into that emotional state really quickly so you don't have time to stop and pause and think about the situation. Um, the second one, have somebody that you trust that you can talk to. Because if you stop and pause and think about the situation and you're just not sure, you talk to somebody, your trusted person. A lot of times, by you saying the situation out loud, your brain then flips over into its rational state, hearing you explain this. And then all of a sudden you go, okay, yep, I get it. It's a scam. I figured it out. Other times you're still in that emotional state. You need your trusted person to be asking you questions, getting you into your rational state so you can understand that this is a scam. And then always verify before you trust. Back in the 80s, Ronald Reagan coined that phrase, trust but verify. We could do that back then. We can't do that in today's world. We have to flip it around. We have to verify before we trust. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you a few examples of verifying. But one of them in particular is like the grandparents scam. You get a call, your grandchild's in trouble, or some family member is in trouble. You have their phone number. You call them. Don't let them on the phone say, I changed my number. Call me at this number. You have their number. Call them on that number and verify what's going on with them. The next one, that old adage, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If something in your gut is telling you that this doesn't make sense, the hair on the back of your neck is going up, anything like that, listen to it. That old adage still works. Protect your personal information. This is big, when we talk in our presentations about how your information gets out there, and we talk about the hacks and the breaches, and you can't control those hacks and the breaches. But what you can control is the information you give to these companies, and make sure you understand why the company needs certain information. If you don't think they need it, ask the question. Okay. And make sure you understand why they need it, because it's your personal information and you want to protect it. Be cautious with payments. We talked about that just a little bit ago. Legitimate companies aren't going to ask you to pay with credit cards, with cryptocurrency. Um, some of them, a lot of them, I should say now today, takes payment apps because it's convenient. And some companies, will accept wire transfers, because if you're an example of that would be if you're buying or selling property, right? You work through a title company and they want you to wire the money. But again, you need to verify, because at some point the title company would have given you the information as to where you need to wire the money. But right before you wire it, you're going to get a hold of that title company using their verified phone numbers. And you're going to verify that that still is the accurate wiring information. Um, the last one, this is really, really important. All of these are important, but this is just as important. Having a trusted tech support person. Now, you're probably familiar with the Geek Squads that are in Best Buy. Those Geek Squad people are tech support people. It's basically somebody that if you have an issue with your device, you're going to talk to, and they can fix it. They can get viruses off your device, malware. They can help you find good, strong antivirus software that works really well with whatever device you have. They can help you with other types of software as well. They can show you how to do different things. But a lot of times they navigate these problems by remoting into your device. Now you have to approve that. There you'll get a little notice in it. You have to approve them to get into your device, but that's why you need to trust them. Is because when they go in and do what they say they're going to do, and they say, okay, everything's fixed, I'm going to end this session and get out of your computer, you want to make sure you trust that person, that they are ending the session and they are out of your computer, that they are not sitting around in the background watching what you're doing, which is what happens a lot when you have a virus, malware, or you get those pop-ups um, saying there's a virus and you need to call us right away, your computer's been locked. They're going to go through and act like a trusted tech support person, but they're really hanging out in the background, or they're able to, they get you to open up your bank account. And I've talked to people that have said, I was putting $500 in there, and all of a sudden these extra zeros showed up and I wasn't pressing the zero. So somehow the scammer had control of their computer, and before they did the payment, they added some extra zeros on it. And, then of course it was like, oh my gosh, you put too many zeros in there. I'm going to get in trouble, all of this stuff. That's on the refund one, right? That they're going to refund you $500, but oh my God, it ended up being 5,000, and I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to get fired, and you need to send the money back, blah, 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 all of that. So, have a trusted tech support person. If you don't know one, um, talk to your family and friends and find out who they use, and that they trust them, and that they're a good referral. Because you don't want to wait until the time that you need this person, because you might be then panicking, and you might just Google and take the first person, and you haven't really vetted that person or that company, to know that they are legitimate and not a scammer impersonating a tech support company or a tech support person. So have them in your back pocket. So when that time comes, you're not going to panic. You're going to know exactly who you're going to call to get everything fixed on it. So I'm going to go in and just show you. I talked about that verifying before you trust. Um, so we're going to go in here to, I talked about the grandparent scam, and calling your grandkids. You have their verified phone number. But remember, in the last probably year and a half, we were getting all of those texts saying that you owed toll fees. And a lot of time, not a lot of times, but sometimes it would say something about, uh, it might have said Arizona, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, maybe I went through a toll road and I just don't remember. So I'm going to pay the bill, right? But if you want to verify, and I should have done this before, so hopefully this is going to come up correctly, but, type in toll roads in Arizona. It's going to come up right there. Arizona has no toll roads, bridges, or tunnels. All highways and state routes are completely free to use. That's your verification right there. But let's say they have a different state. Let's say they use Pennsylvania. So you type in, you could type in, how to pay my toll in Pennsylvania. So it's going to come up here. To pay tolls, you have several options. You could have an easy pass already. A lot of these toll booths aren't manned anymore. So you have easy pass that automatically it scans your easy pass each time you go through. You don't have the easy pass, you can go toll by plate. You'll receive a bill in the mail for the tolls you incur. And I've had this happen before. If you are renting a vehicle, and let's say you happen to be in Pennsylvania and you're going through the toll roads, this has happened to me. The plate on the vehicle is through the rental car company. So the toll's going to then be sent to the rental car company, but then they will put it on your account and send you a bill for the toll, to pay the toll. And it says you could have a mobile app. You can download the Toll by Plate app to manage your payments, view transactions, check your balance, all of that stuff. But here, if you want to make an online payment, it says visit the Pennsylvania Turnpike website to make payments directly for toll invoices. You go to put the invoice number in there. If it's a scam, it's going to come up and say there's no such invoice. But instead of clicking on those links, we've talked about Amazon, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen here now. But we get scammers love to impersonate Amazon. It's a big company. A lot of people have Amazon accounts, whether they use them or not. So maybe, you have an Amazon account, but you don't ever use it. So you get this email saying something's wrong with your account. You need to go in and pay for this order that's in there. so it can be processed. But you're like, I don't use my Amazon account, so this has to be a scam. But if you want to log into it thinking maybe someone else got into your Amazon account, you could log in the way you normally would, and check things out. And that's the same if you do use your Amazon account. Log into your Amazon account the way you normally would, check things out. You can do that with any company that you have an online account with, or you can find the verified phone number and call the company and ask them the question. There was a lot of stuff going on with you failed to show up for jury duty and you owe this penalty and stuff. Well, you can look up the verified phone number and call the courthouse and talk to them to verify what's going on. But you would have gotten a jury summons in the mail that you would have had to engaged with. To some people, for whatever reason, have for valid reasons, can get out of the jury duty, and you might have to write to them or fill out a form online, however it works, to see if you can get dismissed. But you have to think about and ask yourself these questions. Well, did I ever get a jury summons in the mail that I was supposed to go to court? You think you might have, and you've forgotten it. Again, call the courthouse in that district with a verified phone number, not a phone number that's on any communication you just got. Find the verified phone number and call them and ask them the question. The jury duty thing, the courthouses are going to let you explain why you missed jury duty before they're going to just give you a penalty for it. Because what happens if you got in an accident and you couldn't get there, or you were sick and you were in the hospital, right? There's valid reasons why you might have missed jury duty. So always stop, ask yourself the questions, think about it, give yourself 24 hours. I heard this phrase a long time ago, sleep on it, right? Sleep on it and think about it the next day. Now, the scammers are going to want to keep contacting you and all of this stuff. I talked to a lady yesterday, and hopefully she's going to be on as a guest soon. But, she had actually engaged with a scammer, and it was during the conversation, something just didn't feel right, didn't sit right with her. And so she got off the phone with them. But she had arranged and said, call me back. I have a dentist appointment. Call me back at this time. And sure enough, they called, but she didn't answer the phone. Again, she knew it was a scam, but you don't even have to go through all that. Just hang up on them. Don't worry about it. Just hang up on them. Don't worry about being nice to them. But somewhere in that, she was able to figure out that this just didn't feel right, didn't sit right with her. And so she avoided falling victim to that scam. You need to listen to your gut and what it's telling you. So that's all I have for today. The next 5 weeks, I believe, you're going to see Brian Watson. He's going to be back on here doing the show. He's going to have some great information for you. But in the meantime, don't forget to click subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are up over 50 subscribers now. We're trying to get to that over 100 subscribers. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're going to get notified ahead of time of what these shows are going to be about. You can find all of our past episodes on there. And you can get on our website at roseadvocacy.org and find all of our social media channels, and go down to the bottom of the homepage and you can sign up for our emailed newsletter or our mailed newsletter. Lots of valuable information, but it's a reminder about your scam prevention habits. So the next time you are contacted, you're going to be more apt to stop and pause and think about the situation first. Happy New Year, everyone, and take care. And I will see you mid-February. Thanks.
Well, that's all the knowledge for this episode. Tune in every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time on K4HD Radio at k4hd.com as Joyce explores a variety of knowledge so you have the power to make scam protection your healthy habit. And until then, feel free to reach out to Joyce and let's talk about scams.